Yo, what's happening, everyone? It's your boy here, Abdurrahim, back again with another great, amazing podcast. This is my first podcast, but today we're going to talk a lot, or we can talk a little, or we can talk a little bit about graphics design. We can talk about the trending design. We can talk about design in details. Now, jumping out of that, some of you guys, you're new into graphics design. Some of your smiley faces, you're bringing yourself into graphics design, which is something which is so incredible, and I really appreciate that, since you're exploring different type of aspects of art. Now let us just get started here today, because I'm so fresh, I'm so pumped, I'm so excited. And last but not least, shout out to everyone who is taking the graphics design course, because some of you guys, I really appreciate that. And shout out to everyone who purchased my color loots. It's something which is so great. So let us just get into it. So today we are having something called the design concept, or the design how it is. Now, what is the design? Actually, the design is all about art. It's all about how you think out of the box. Some of you guys do not do that, but it's not such a something which we can say you're holding yourself into the river. Now, I'm not talking about the river, but I'm talking about how we can unify the design into a kind of great aspect of you. Some of you guys who can just take the codes and just get started out of it. Now, the design has been briefly outside the box into different kind of aspect, and some of you guys just get a lot of pressure out of it, because you seems like design is so tough. Design is something which you can capture, but you can capture design into different kind of aspect. And I started taking my design classes back in the days when by I'm starting learning, or I was into computer engineering. Now I graduated computer engineering, and well, today I'm just doing software development. That means I'm into software more than hardware. I really appreciate that, learning hardware. It just opens different types of doors, and understanding how hardware plays big role by having an hardware, and hardware, remember, doesn't work without a software. So I think the one kind of aspect, design is all about different type of things. You can play around with colors, you can play around with shapes, and design is full of art in how you keep yourself with designs. But well, you're just wondering that you can take that kind of course, like a Photoshop course, whereby it's we're looking upon those kind of software. Though there is another kind of new software, it's called Affinity. Own kind of aspect with this kind of course is something which is so great. Now, when it comes to Photoshop, well, Photoshop is an industry software which is a standard basically used for designing, and you can design tons and tons of stuff. You can do retouching, you can do photography adjustments, you can do bunch of stuff. You can make video out of it, like you can do animations, you can do some GIF animations, you can do this and that. But is it that much software more useful for you, like Photoshop or stuff, as a designer? Well, yeah, it plays a big role out of designs, and you can run out of it, because design is something which is capturing into different kind of aspect and perspective. And tons and tons of people, they're jumping out of it because they just want to get that kind of brightness or lightness out of design, so as they can capture it. But Photoshop has been there for a couple of years, since the first version of Photoshop, and for right now we are seeing the Photoshop CC 2019, whereby we are expecting Photoshop CC 2020 in early I think in early November or early December, somewhere there in 2019. We're gonna get that kind of update there, and we see some new features out of it. But today it's just that we are discussing about how design can enroll you into the system, whereby you can just do your freelancing or get that kind of job out of design. So I think, to my own kind of aspect for this kind of fast podcast, you got me clear. I don't want to just take a lot of time of you guys, but thank you guys for listening. And this is my first podcast. If you're into it, make sure that you hit the thumbs up. But if you think this is like press fast forward, you can hit that fast forward, and it can be more great. But for the info, just stay tuned for the more podcast, and catch you on the next one.